Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The North Ridgeville City Council meeting is now in session. Today is Monday, December 19th, 2022. Please rise for the invocation and the pledge of allegiance. Father, we thank you for your guidance as we begin our meeting, and we thank you for all blessings in our lives. We pray for all people, especially the people of the city of North Ridgeville during this time of year. And we ask that the joys of the holiday season be with us all. We ask for it in your name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please call the roll.
Swing.
Here.
Bruce. Here. Havens.
Here.
Winkle. Here. Haley.
Yeah.
DeVries.
It's excused.
Jacobs.
Here.
Mayor.
Here.
Safety Service Director.
Here.
Law Director.
Here.
Engineer.
Here.
Auditor. She's excused. Perfect council.
All right, tonight under the approval of minutes, we have the city council meeting minutes dated December the 5th, 2022. Are there any changes or corrections to those minutes? All right, hearing none, the minutes are approved as submitted. Please note that council has also received the Civil Service Commission meeting minutes dated December 12th, 2022. Next up is our lobby session. As always, we allow the general public an opportunity to address city council as well as the city administration. Once the lobby session is open, we ask that anybody who wishes to speak speaks from the podium, and you will be allowed up to 3 minutes. We do have one written submission this evening. Mr. Ringwald, if you'd like to start us off, you could start by announcing your name and your address for the record.
Rudy Ringwald, 31966 Center Ridge Road here in North Ridgeville. Good evening, all. You have before you tonight the first reading of legislation introduced by Councilman Winkle. I urge the council to support this legislation as it moves through the legislative process. And I want to thank Councilman Winkle for introducing it. It is a good first step in helping folks with the high cost of tap-in fees. On another issue, we had another water main break last Friday. That's number 12, who's counting, since the Center Ridge Sewer Project began. It may be time to consider replacing the water main in that area, maybe before ODOT repaves next year. Also, we did not get a city alert on Friday, but I see that one was issued on Saturday for a water main break on Stony Ridge. I would urge the city to be more consistent on issuing these types of alerts. It's always good to know when your water is going to be shut off and when it comes back on. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ringwald. All right, do we have anybody else this evening who would like an opportunity to address council or the administration? Great, hearing none, the lobby session is now closed. We'll move on to administrator's report. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. If you haven't heard, January 9th is the State of the City address for, I should say, the State of North Ridgeville address. That'll be another joint effort between the city and the schools to present the goings on and future of both of those entities. That is a Chamber of Commerce lunch, and they charge a fee for the event. So you can go on nrchamber.com to sign up for that. It is $25. And as always, it was a great time last year. We will try to make it even better this year. City Hall offices will be closed on Friday, December 23rd and Monday, December 26th in observance of the Christmas holiday. In addition, Monday, January 2nd, the offices will be closed for the New Year's holiday. With the holiday falling on Monday, our January council meeting will be held on Tuesday, January 3rd at 7 p.m. I'd like to take this opportunity while I'm talking about holidays to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and Happy Holidays as well. At this point, I would like I make a motion to go into executive session to discuss the hiring of public personnel.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Winkle, I heard first, to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing public personnel. Clerk, please call the roll.
Swing.
Yes.
Bruce. Yes. Davis. Yes. Winkle. Yes. Haywick.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries 6.
All right, we will adjourn to the executive session.
Yeah, I got one other thing, but I'll make an announcement. Okay, try not to be too surprised.
All right, thanks folks for your patience. Council meeting is now back in session. Mr. Mayor, please continue with the report.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have two appointments to make. We have an expiration of a planning commission member and a BZBA member. At this point, I am moving to renew Jim Smolik's term on planning commission for another term.
So the motion was made by the mayor and seconded by Swank to renew Jim Smolik's position on the planning commission. Are there any comments or questions regarding that? All right, all in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed?
And I make the motion to reappoint Linda Masterson to another term on BZBA. As her term expires at the end of this year as well.
Second.
Motion was made by the mayor and seconded by Winkle to reappoint Linda Masterson to DDBA. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. Right.
Finally, this one's a little difficult, but we tried a joint project with the schools back in November, and obviously it didn't go well. The results of the election, coupled with the results of the survey responses that we received, and we got about 2,200 survey responses, which is pretty remarkable because those usually don't come in those kinds of numbers. Based on that feedback and having some consultation with the school district about some of the things that they're going to be working on, we've decided here that we will not be putting our effort back on the ballot in May. Our portion of things lost pretty bad, and it would be kind of silly to put the same exact thing on the ballot. I think there's an opportunity for the schools to try again because of their process, and I'm sure that the superintendent will talk about that at their board meeting tomorrow night. And she'll talk further about the survey results as well, but it's pretty clear that the community thought that the effort was too much and that we should do something less. And one of the easiest ways to do less is to remove our portion out of the effort. It's not exactly what I was hoping for, but again, the results speak for themselves, both in the election results and the survey results. So we will continue to work with the schools moving forward to try and make the community better. We do that on a daily basis, and I've talked a lot about how the strength of the schools is important to the strength of a city and vice versa. So we will continue to try to collaborate wherever we can, and maybe there'll still be another opportunity sometime in the future to do something together. But as of right now, we will not put our issue back on the ballot in May. So I just wanted to make that clear to everybody. I think you kind of already assumed that, but that's where we're at. And unfortunately, that concludes my report on a down note.
Well, nonetheless, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Safety Service Director.
On an up note,
Thank you, Jeff.
I want to thank PG and her staff, Tina, it's festive. We've got some Christmas tree up there. I don't know if Jeff, you can show that and when you get an opportunity up in the corner. And we've got a wreath and you did a nice job decorating for Christmas. So I appreciate that. And Merry Christmas to everybody and a Happy New Year, because we won't be meeting, I don't believe, till January 2nd. So that completes my report this evening. And remember, it might snow this weekend. We had a little bit of snow on Saturday and some black ice. Residents got to recognize, and drivers, that ice is ice and it's slippery. And not necessarily, we had some issues on Stony Ridge, I believe. We had sign takeout down here on Chestnut that somebody hit the roundabout sign, took it completely out. I can't imagine they damaged in their car, but they didn't stop. we'll have that sign put back up, but please be careful and recognize that the snow plows are large and they're big. And they weigh a lot of, they weigh a lot. And please stay out of their way and recognize that those guys are doing, guys and girls are doing a great job out there for the city of North Ridgeville. And let's hope that they will continue, I know, and look forward to clean streets, even if it snows on Christmas. Thanks much.
Thank you. Ms. Engineer.
Mr. President, I don't really have any updates, but I'll continue with the sentiment and wish everybody a happy holiday and a happy new year.
Very good. Thank you. Same to you.
Thanks.
And as noted at the beginning of the meeting, the auditor is not present this evening, so she will not have a report, but she has provided us with the October 2022 financial report. There are no council committee reports, no correspondence, no old business on the agenda. Under new business, we should have, there we go. Planning Commission took action on 2 items at its last meeting on December 13th. Clerk, if you could please read the first item.
First item, PPD 2022-0149, White Life Celebration Center 7295 Green Lawn Drive, current parcel number 07-00-00-103-193. Applicant Randall Smith, GSC Architects Incorporated, 401 Front Street, Bree, Ohio, 44017. The proposal consists of constructing a life celebration center for funeral homes use only. The property is zoned B5 Architectural Business District. Note BCBA approved variances on 11/17/22. Planning Commission action was approved by a vote of 5-0.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Havens.
I will move that we approve the PC action.
Motion was made by Avens and seconded by Awig to approve the planning commission approval of Ogden Life Celebration Center. Are there any additional comments or questions? All right, hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swing,
Yes.
Booth. Yes. Havens.
Yes.
Winkle.
Yes.
Awig.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
All right, and the second action by planning commission was Sergeant Clean Car Wash. Clerk, please read me.
Planning Commission number 2, 2022-0152, Sergeant Clean Car Wash, 32499 Lorraine Road, current parcel number 07-00-003-102-065. Applicant Always Stay Unlimited LLC, doing business as Sergeant Clean Car Wash, 3673 Mashlon Road in Uniontown, Ohio, 44685. The proposal consists of constructing a new full-service car wash. The property is zoned B3 Highway Commercial District. The Planning Commission action approved by a vote of 5-0 with the condition of the limitation of 6 spaces as shown on page C1028.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Avens.
there was quite a bit of discussion on this particular project. A lot of folks weren't anxious to have another car wash. And also weren't anxious to load up another place, another business at that corner of Hook and Lorraine. But we saw no reason not to approve it. The EC action was unanimous, and also we'll move that we approve it with the upon the approval of the BZA requested variances.
Second.
Motion was made by Avens and seconded by Winkle to approve the planning commission's approval of Sergeant Clean Car Wash. Are there any additional comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swing,
Yes.
Booth. Yes. Havens.
Yes.
Winkle.
Yes.
Awig.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
And then also under new business this evening, we have a Board of Drainage and Flood Control appointment. This is a Ward 4 appointment, so I will turn to Mr. Winkle for your comments.
Thank you, Mr. President. You all know Bill Gardner passed away this year, and the amount of volunteer work Bill did for the community is both appreciated and admired. with Bill's passing, left the open spot on the Board of Drainage and Flood Control. With the expansion of Ward 4 into new areas. Then we have someone here that also volunteers a fair amount of time to the city and also represents part of the new Ward 4 this year. So with that being said, I'd like to make a motion to appoint JD Konkowski to be a Ward 4 representative to the Board of Drainage and Flood Control.
Second.
Motion was made by Winkle and seconded by Swain to appoint JD Gankowski to an unexpired term expiring December 31st, 2023. On the Board of Drainage and Flood Control as the Ward 4 representative. All in favor, say yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. Congratulations, JD. Thank you for your willingness to serve. That I believe brings us to recess.
Mr. President, move to dispense with recess.
Moved by Winkle and seconded by Booth to dispense with recess this evening. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. All right, we'll move on to first readings. Up first is T-175.
T-175-2022, an ordinance amending NRCO section 1044.02, connection charges by adding subsection L.
T-175 will be referred to the Utilities Commission or, Utilities Committee for further discussion. T-176.
T-176-2022, a resolution accepting grant funds from the Lorraine County Board of Commissioners for the completion of the Mills Creek Conservation and Regional Flood Control Public Improvement Project in an amount not to exceed $510,000.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
this resolution is in regard to the Mills Creek Conservation Flood Control Project, also known as the Boulder Drive Retention Basin Project. As we know, we've been talking about this for a number of years. This was an opportunity where the county commissioners were looking to use some infrastructure funds. We applied for the money. They are willing to give it to us, and we're more than happy to accept it. So the faster we can say yes, the better for the community and for this project and for flood control in the area. So at this point, I move to dispense with the second and third readings for T-176.
Second.
Like surround sound. It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Booth to dispense with the second and third readings for T-176. Are there any additional comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no.
President move to adopt.
Second.
President move to add the emergency clause so that way we may get these funds in a timely manner and try to move this project forward as fast as we can.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Booth to add the emergency clause to T-176 in order to obtain the funds timely and move the project along. On the emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes. All opposed say no. It was then moved by the mayor and seconded by Booth to adopt T-176 with the emergency clause in place. Any final comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swing.
Yes.
Booth.
Yes.
Avens.
Yes.
Winkle.
Yes.
Awig.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously and becomes resolution 1582-2022.
It brings us to second readings. First is T-105.
T-105-2022, an ordinance amending sections 878.01, 0.03, and 0.04 of the codified ordinances of the city of North Ridgeville, Ohio, to provide for a levy of an additional 0.2% income tax beginning January 1st, 2023, to provide funds to pay for the cost of acquiring, constructing, operating, maintaining, and otherwise improving permanent improvements in our sites, including recreational facilities as part of the cooperative project with the North Ridgeville City Schools District, and paying debt charges on the securities and other obligations of the city related thereto.
So T-105 had its first reading back in July. If you recall, it was tabled at that point until the results of the election were certified. So it was placed back on the agenda tonight. to receive its second reading, but as a result of the certified election results and on, what was that, November 8th, 2022? And the non-passage of ballot issue number 28, I will go ahead now and make a motion to strike T105 from the agenda with no further consideration by council.
Second.
So the motion was made by Jacobs and seconded by Avens to strike T105 from the agenda. Are there any additional comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swing,
Yes.
Booth. Yes. Stevens.
Yes.
Winkle.
Yes.
Haywick.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
T166.
P166 2022, an ordinance creating a new chapter 213 disposal of municipal real property of the North Ridgeville codified ordinances.
T172.
T172 2022, an ordinance establishing the Department of Finance and defining the responsibilities of the Department of Finance.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
move to dispense with a third reading for T172.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Avens to dispense with the third reading for T172. Is there any comments or questions?
Mr. President, as you're aware, we have had a charter change, which creates the Department of Finance. These are ordinances where we took the auditor's ordinances, the treasurer's ordinances, and combined them into one ordinance. Had a section added for the Department of Finance, the Director of Finance, and then also the Assistant Director of Finance. And then a clause that also says that we will create other positions as needed in that department. So that was what we're doing, just trying to meet the obligations of the charter and codify these things all into one place, so we have them. And with that being said, I'm moving to dispense with the third reading.
Second.
Any additional comments or questions? So again, it was moved by the mayor and seconded by Avens to dispense with the third reading for T172. All in favor, say yes.
Yeah.
All opposed, say no.
Mr. President, move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, move to add the emergency clause so that way we may fill that position in a timely manner.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor. Seconded by Avens to add the emergency clause to T172 in order to fill the position in a timely manner. On that emergency clause alone, all in favor, say yes.
Yeah.
Opposed, say no. It was then moved by the mayor and seconded by Avens to adopt T172 with the emergency clause in place. This time, are there any final comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swing,
Yes.
Booth.
Yes.
Avens.
Yes.
Winkle.
Yes.
Haywick.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously and becomes ordinance number 6028 2022.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
I should have moved to amend T172. I'm sorry.
Okay.
The version in front of you in your omnibus was changed slightly to add some consistency to the language of the titles. It was in some places, it said Director of Finance, in others it said Finance Director. Also similar changes were made with the assistant position as well. So unfortunately,
Right.
from a procedure standpoint, I'm going to withdraw my motion to adopt and my motion to add the emergency clause.
Okay, so we have to vote on that.
We do, sorry.
Okay, so the motion was made by the mayor and seconded by Swing to withdraw the. Do I have to do the adoption of the emergency separately? No. Okay, so we will withdraw the adoption of T71. All in favor, say yes.
T72.
T172. Okay, all in favor, say yes.
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 All opposed, say no. And then the motion was made by the mayor and seconded by Swank to withdraw the addition of the emergency clause as well. All in favor, say yes.
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 All opposed, say no.
Okay, sorry, again, at this point, I'd like to, I will motion to add, or to amend T 172 to the version that you had previously provided. For those reasons that I stated earlier.
Second.
All right. We're gonna start over here.
Yep.
It was moved by the mayor, seconded by Avens to amend T 172 to correct the minor typos and inconsistencies with the position titles, which is now reflected in the version that is in on base. Regarding the motion to amend, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Booth. Yes. Stevens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Haywick,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yeah.
Motion carries unanimously.
All right, Mr. President, at this time, I move to adopt the amended version of T 172.
Second.
And Mr. President, I move to add the emergency clause to amended T 172 for those reasons that I stated earlier.
Second.
Thank you.
All right, it was moved by the mayor and seconded by Avens to add the emergency clause to the amended version of T 172 for the reasons stated earlier in the meeting by the mayor. On the emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. It was then moved by the mayor and seconded by Avens to adopt amended T 172 with the emergency clause in place. At this time, are there any comments or questions?
Question.
Yes,
Do
Mr.
we
Avens?
need to waive the third, call it a reading of the third at this point?
No, that one I think we can leave in place because I'm amending. The amendment motion is a superseding motion, so before we adopt it, we're good.
Okay, if we had repealed the first one, so.
Right.
Well, we didn't repeal the,
We,
dispensing the third reading, we just repealed the adoption of the emergency clause.
right. And I'm hoping that this is the last mistake I make in a council meeting for 2022.
I can't say much.
You get some more shots.
So it's always good.
All right, where would we?
Emergency clause.
So it was moved by, I don't remember what part I did now. Did I already do the emergency clause?
Yes.
Okay. So then if there's no additional comments or questions, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Booth. Yes. Avens.
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Haywick,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously and becomes. Would be the same ordinance 6028-2022.
Good. All right, we'll move on to T 173.
An ordinance amending North Ridgeville ordinance 5596-2018 to maintain parity in certain benefits provided to city employees and certain department heads, supervisory employees, and confidential employees.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
move to amend T 173 with the version that's in front of you. Exhibit A is the only thing that we changed in this. And it's to reflect some changes in the ranges of one of those positions.
Second.
The motion was made by the mayor and seconded by Swig to amend T 173 to correct variations in the wage scales listed in the exhibit, which are reflected in the revised version that has been provided to us. Regarding the motion to amend, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Booth. Yes. Avens.
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Haywick,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries to amend the legislation.
Mr. President, move to dispense with the third reading.
Second.
It's moved by the mayor and seconded by Winkle to dispense with the third reading for T 173.
Amended.
Amended. Thank you. Are there any comments or questions at this time? Okay, all in favor, say yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All opposed, say no.
Mr. President, move to adopt T-173 amended.
Second.
Mr. President, move to add the emergency clause to T-173 amended. So that way we may start the new year with the wage scales properly in place.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Winkle to add the emergency clause to T-173 amended for the reasons stated by the mayor. On the emergency clause alone, all in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. It was then moved by the mayor and seconded by Winkle to adopt T-173 amended with the emergency clause in place. This time, are there any final comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Havens,
Yes.
Winkle. Yes. Haywick.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously and becomes ordinance number 6029-2022.
T-174.
T-174-2022, an ordinance amending exhibit A of North Ridgeville ordinance 2725-93 to maintain internal wage parity between certain supervisory and confidential employees.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
move to amend that T-174 exhibit A portion of this ordinance. And that's to reflect the changes in the negotiated wage increase and the salary scales that would need to adjust based on that negotiated increase.
Second.
The motion was made by the mayor and seconded by Booth to amend T-174 for the reasons stated by the mayor. Regarding the motion to amend, clerk, please call the roll.
Yes.
Booth.
Yes.
Havens.
Yes.
Winkle. Yes. Haywick.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion to amend carries unanimously. Mr. President, move to dispense with the third reading.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Booth to dispense with the third reading for T-174 amended. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no.
Mr. President, move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, move to add the emergency clause so we can start the new year with proper wage scales.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Booth to add the emergency clause to T-174 amended in order to start the year with the proper rate scales. On the emergency clause alone, all in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. It was then moved by the mayor and seconded by Booth to adopt T-174 amended with the emergency clause in place. Are there any final comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Booth.
Yes.
Havens.
Yes.
Winkle.
Yes.
Haywick.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries and becomes ordinance number 6030-2022.
And that brings us to third readings. We have just one on the agenda, T-164.
T-164-2022, an ordinance providing appropriations for the current expenses and other expenditures of the city of North Ridgeville, Ohio for the period commencing January 1st, 2023 and ending December 31st, 2023.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mrs. Swing.
move to adopt.
Second.
And this is a timely issue, seeing as how we want this to.
Certainly,
For the
it's
first of the year.
President, if you'd like me to add some comments.
Sure, go right ahead.
This is our annual appropriations, which is our budgeting for the upcoming year. In order for this to go into effect and us to be able to operate as a government, we would appreciate the emergency clause being added in order to do so. So I think you were going down that path. I'll let you continue.
I will make the motion to add the emergency clause for the reasons stated by the mayor.
Thank you.
So it was moved by Jacobs, seconded by Awig to add the emergency clause to T-164 for the reasons just stated by the mayor. On the emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. It was moved by Swing and seconded by Avens to adopt T-164 with the emergency clause in place at this time. Are there any additional comments or questions?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Bruce.
just a note, as a member of the Finance Committee, want to again thank the administration, the auditors department, all the department heads and members of city council who spent many hours going over the budget process. So I just want those that are in attendance today or watching to understand that this isn't something we just did this evening. We worked several months on this. And so I thank everybody who had input to this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bruce. Any additional comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swing,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Haywick,
Yes.
Jacobson.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously and becomes ordinance number 6031 2022.
All right. I'd like to also take an opportunity to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. On behalf of City Council, I would like to wish a very happy holiday season to people of North Ridgeville and Happy New Year as well. We will see you back here in 2023. Our next regular council meeting, it will be held, as the mayor indicated earlier, on Tuesday, January 3rd at 7 p.m. here in the City Council chambers. That is the result of City Hall being closed in observance of the January 2nd for the New Year's holiday. Do any of our council members have any final comments or questions this evening?
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. All right, folks. Meeting is adjourned.